average age out that school is 27 years. They don't go to school when they're young. They wait till they get older. That's right. I think that's the right deal. But you can't. I've tried to find out how many Japanese. These are Japanese Americans. They got to have that American deal. They don't hire them right out of Tokyo because they're all Japanese Japs. But I can't figure what the hell. Why did they build a Japanese school in Montana? Because hey, Bud Myrtle was a guard out here. They have 2,500, and these are Native Americans that they put in this concentration camp. That's when Dwyer, he broke his neck, and then he ended up a guard. And he used to tell me the horror stories that was going on out there. They treated those poor Japs, and they were better Americans. They enlisted in the military too. But
and they did well. They performed well in the military too.
You meet them every day. You know what I'm talking about. But if I ever get a stove done, God, that fume from that stuff will kill you. I couldn't sleep last night.
Oh no, you shouldn't. You should do.
You should have seen the size on that. There's a baked on that thick, and they spray that on, and they use that cigarette lighter fluid. That softens it up. I got it pretty well cleaned up, but except the oven.
Well, they have oven cleaner.
But hey, he's in no hurry. Because his father, he was married, and he's got two full, and she has a full basement and a gambling deal. He's living over there, and he's in no hurry, but he's going to get this done. Now, that house he rented is a shambles, and he just got the contractor to fix that up. It's a 3-bedroom house over on University. You know, anytime, every tenant's the same way. They don't clean nothing. You know that. What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've gone through it 100 times. But stove, you know, according to Lambros, they get $100 for a refrigerator and $50 for stove. But no, now you can go out here and about 3 miles, and they've got about 100 of those that they just dump, but they're all dirty. It'll take you a week to get them workable. There was some government agency. Instead of spending all, they just buy a new stove. That stove used to be able to buy it for $120. I don't know what they are now. Probably 50. Well, you think I made the wrong deal? Give me some.
No, I think you did a good job. I think it's a good deal.
I do that to everybody.
I know it's it's a family.
I told Mahana when I get a vacancy, she can have free rent. Why? Because if you correct rent, the IRS will get every goddamn cent. Not only that, you run a risk of getting they don't give you a big cent. Now, 26 days is the average. All they want is that greenback. They'll take that on time. But I'll bet in there, that phony deal I got, I don't think I'll ever hear from again. It was on red ink, and then promised me $400. That's just to sucker me in. Hey, the problem is, reportable income, I was way under. You're allowed 17,000. My total income was about the third of what she showed me right there.
Oh, okay.
But nevertheless, they're going to get their money. I know that.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the stuff that went on when you were in World War II, when you were flying. Tell me about some of the flying.
Somebody has to pay interest on that money.
I know. Tell me about when you were flying in World War II. Keith, tell me about when you were flying in World War II.
Huh?
Tell me about when you were flying airplanes.
Which way? Well,
wherever you want to start.
I'll tell you the saddest day of my life. And the reason, that furniture outfit over here along the railroad track, see, Lockheed was right next to the military deal. And they turned out those P-38s, they had to inspect them twice. So they had 6 test pilots, and I knew they're just like brothers. And this was a Saturday morning in June 1929. And all those guys here in Lockheed, and they used to come over to the plant because the airplanes are a lot. They're just like when they come off the assembly line. They're just like those fucking Fords. If you don't get them worked on, you ain't going to go anywhere. And so this day, the military was having a show. There was a bunch of Japs came over and some Germans. No, not they're from Anchorage, Alaska. They wanted to, so they run this test deal. And 3 of those test pilots, which are like brothers, the airstrip was right alongside the factory on the west side. They got in the 3 planes. They put on an exhibition. All those planes went down and killed the goddamn pilots. They probably sabotaged because that bothered me. That's about the day I figured I wanted to quit because these were nice guys. But hey, I look back. You know, testing airplanes during the war killed more people than got shot down, according to them guys. You know, the military don't give a damn about human lives. It's just kind of like what's going on in this country today.
Tell me about when you played in Duke Ellington's band.
Huh?
Tell me when you played in Duke Ellington's band and about the Palladium.
Well, I had trombone. I had a card, and actually, I had a military band, and the only reason I could read music. So there was 210 guys, and half of the guys I stole from Duke Ellington's band, because we were playing at Paramount. He was playing at the Paramount, the Hot Mikado. That was with Negroes. And so we go down there every day about 2 o'clock. We were allowed 1 hour to go in there. We played this hot jazz, and our biggest customers was Wax. They'd come in there. They'd come in by busloads, and we'd play requests. We had parody on every song, and so hey, it got me out of KP. And, the goddamn military. You got to learn to roll with the punches, otherwise you're going to peel potatoes all your life. But it's all done now by machine. Before it was done with those deals. And so but one day when we were playing, like for example, there's a song, she's a grand old bag here and she takes off the rag. We were right in the middle of that song, and about 200 wax washes. That got back to the high command. Guess where we ended up? In the Los Angeles jail. They fined us $300. That was against the law to play those parodies. But hell, I can't figure out how those wax found out about that deal. Probably word of mouth, because we didn't tell them. In our band, our trombone section and our saxophone section was all Duke Ellington's band played there every night on a Hot Mikado. We just played from 2 o'clock till about, we were supposed to play at 3, but sometimes it run over a little. But it was the best year of my life. But that deal with a 3 test pilot, just like losing your own brother. Of course, the military, I just wonder if they're wise or got any money out of that. Probably. On the other hand, you never know. But that was a brutal war.
Yeah, it was.
But we got even with those bombs, as near as I can figure out. And one day with atom bombs, we wiped out 1,800,000 women and children. We didn't kill any men because they were all fighting us on battleships. One thing about the United States military, they only kill women and children by accident, but that goddamn atom bomb, we should have never developed that. We already won the goddamn war, but those Japs are like everybody. They don't.
But the Japanese and the Germans were working on the same deal.
We had that bomb.
But the Germans were working on it too.
But then we developed the hydrogen bomb, which one of them would blow the whole world apart.
Yeah.
We, and my friend Tom Wicks' son, he had a film to prove it.
Yeah.
Blew a hole in the earth about a mile wide and a mile deep. And we still got that bomb. We dropped one of those over there and those goddamn Muslims that take everybody.
Yeah, it would.
God, I don't know if it's right or wrong. Well, probably save. I don't think it saved any American lives because all Americans are already dead.
Well, actually, you know, if they'd have had to go door to door, it saved people going door to door. There would have been more Japanese dead, and there would have been more Americans dead. Door to door fighting is the one that you know.
I have never figured out why Franklin D. Roosevelt. I know what I'm talking about because I spent a lot of time over in Hawaii, and he said, you know, we're going to cut off your oil. At the time, Japan was getting all their oil from Russia. Russia just got more oil than anywhere on earth.
Yeah.
And they were giving them that oil because Russians and Japs are close friends. And why in the hell he cut off? If somebody cut off my oil, I'd get pissed. But I don't think I'd have bombed Pearl Harbor for it. They didn't gain anything.
No, it's like the admiral said. I think we've awoken a sleeping giant. Which actually they did.
Our system of government and the Jap system of government is lousy. Hey, did you know after the Democrats won, there's a country over here in Europe, they closed everything up and declared a holiday because we're supporting them and feeding them. It's in the paper today.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's down there near Libya. I can't remember the name. I never heard of it before. It's a bunch. All I know is there's a bunch of hippopotamuses. It's in that magazine I'm reading.
Maybe it's. Oh, okay.
I don't think politics make any difference in Missoula.
No.
Everywhere you go, everybody's laying off. We'll go down here and look at all the empty buildings.
I'll have to check that out. I know that there's been a big influx of problems.
If Walmart needs some more stores, they got them right. That Hastings, that deal fell through and they painted the building. That's almost as big as that store out there.
Well, have you been to the old Walmart? They remodeled it. Yeah, it looks nice inside.
That's a neat building too.
Yeah.
It's insulated. But
well,
they've been out there.
That whole thing got started when Bernie Frank and that Todd guy, or Dodd, or whatever the hell his name is, they came up with the idea.
Over here, it's been over a year. Right down there next where Bugs Bunny.
But they came up with an idea, and so Fannie Mae and Bernie Mac were basically giving houses away, and they were actually even forging AAA background checks, and the people that were selling them, the real estate guys made a lot of money, the appraising guys made a lot of money, the mortgage banks made more money. Each person along the line went from real estate to appraising to this bank to the mortgage bank to the investment bank to the financial instruments, as they're called, and basically if they weren't fixing it so the people actually couldn't pay them off, it would have worked, because that's how it normally worked. You would sell mortgage loans to people, and then they have an investment. But this all went south because these people didn't even have the wherewithal to actually. They were mistreated. They were given property falsely under false pretenses, and they didn't have the money to even pay for it. But they did it. They all did it anyway, and that we did a disservice to these poor people. Now they've had a situation where instead of putting these bastards in jail, everybody that was involved in that fraud should all be in jail right now. We wound up giving them money and pay them off so that the thing doesn't fall apart. I think they should arrest them all and put them in jail. because they were it was fraud. And all along the way, the whole thing went south, and that caused the correction in the stock markets all over the world. They all started going down. Every time the one would open up, it would start going down, and that was back in September. And then all of a sudden, everything's okay, and then it all comes up again, and we wound up with a serious problem where the only way they could get out of it was actually have to pay off some of these people that screwed up and made money and all this. They let Lehman Brothers, it's been there since the days of cotton and in the Civil War, before the Civil War, they let that go south. And then they decided, well, we better not do that. We better get some other things going. So they got Citigroup, got some money from Dubai, and all these different banks got some influx money from the IMF, which is basically us. And then we've got however much money they put into this situation. It was several billion, I think, depending on each bank. And now you got, major banks, the Rothschilds and all these people, they're making their money too, I'm sure. And basically it's putting, it's really, there's no guarantee that all this money that they put into these banks isn't going to go south. You saw how the stock market went south because the Associated Press talked about how many people had been laid off.
Hey, everybody brought that up. I never told you how I got that goddamn Indian out there. One day a gal upstairs come over, beating on my door. You met her.
Yeah.
You met her TV.
Yeah.
She said, Keith, hey, I got mad, but I don't hold grudges about her. Like 5 minutes, that's simply work.
Yeah.
But anyway, she says, they're smoking pot, we come up. I got a deal that puts the heat up in the wall so our plumbing won't freeze.
Oh, yeah,
in the kitchen. And I said, hey, listen, these are Indians. Indians don't come under any laws in Montana. They have their own laws. And all they might do, I might get them out of there by calling the local cops won't come out here. And so I thought, hey, I know that Narcos caught the guy down. I told him he bought that house originally next door. So I called him, and he said, well, listen, if I mention your name, you don't sell any drugs, do you? And I said, hell no, there's no money in that either, because you can't get the cash. So after I called him, there's 7 police cars. These are all, they arrested him. Now, according to the cop, the head guy that built that house for, I said, I'd like to know what's going on. Well, you call it. And he says, we're going to put those bastards all in jail. There's a bunch of them, 3 of them were boys and a couple of girls. And he says there was enough drugs in that place to feed a whole city. And so I said, well, how long are you going to stay in jail? He says, with the amount of drugs they have, it depends on the judge. They might be in there. They had what's that narcotics sniff? I'll tell you the name. But he says our new jail is full. We can't keep them there. Everybody's on narcotics. I said the only ones that ain't on narcotics is because they can't afford it. And that's true. I used to be on marijuana is the best thing for anybody with cancer there is.
Yeah.
Now,
they even said, the doctors even say that marijuana is good for people with asthma.
I don't know.
It's a medicinal herb, for Christ's sake.
Well, the biggest problem we got is our goddamn utility company and those politicians.
What about the water company? They didn't pay their taxes. Oh, we forgot to pay our taxes. They must have a pretty dumb accountant if they forgot to pay the taxes. And now we're expected to pay higher premiums to cover their sorry dumbasses because they didn't pay their taxes. They're like $445,000 in back taxes. Yeah. But they said it was a problem, and they've got the money to pay them, and they actually paid them off. So I don't know.
That narcotics squad would put Indians in our jail because they shit on the floors. They did just what they did to me. They ruined everything. You can see. even Caleb was appalled. And I said, hey, Caleb, it was my own damn fault. I said, I could have put a stop to it, but in those days I didn't give a damn. I still don't. How come you think I'm letting you in here free? I said, anybody got 3 kids and don't know what his wife with, hell, I figured out, my wife did the same thing to me. After I had 2 kids, she decided it was too much of a job, so she gave me a divorce. She used the excuse I was chasing everything. It's a goddamn lie. I used to hold down 3 jobs. I didn't have time. I give up. Hey, chasing Chippy, you better be able to afford penicillin shots or you're going to die from a horrible disease. So she moved to Helena and she had a boyfriend that had 3 daughters. I go over there and build her a house, help my son. She moved in the house, and now when she died, her 3 daughters, and she's married that guy 35 years, and she only put up with my bullshit for 25. And she knew exactly what, she had a boyfriend, I had a girlfriend, and we talked it over. And because everybody has one anyway, and the only ones that don't is because they're lying. Yeah, no, Americans are known for their goddamn lies. Anyway, I took over when it's TV, I helped him up. And those 3 daughters used to come down at 8 in the morning, and they'd go down to, they had a brand new motel next to them. They'd go in there, they'd rent a room, and I go over looking for him, and the guy I said, well, I said, I'm looking for my son. And he said, well, is he the guy that was building that house? And he pointed to mine. Yeah, where is? Well, he says, I don't want, he gave me the room number. I went up there, doors wide open. My goddamn son, those three girls were in bed with him. I figured out right quick what was going on. He was bushwhacking them. And you used to do the same thing, but you lie about it. So.
Oh, I suppose.
Hey, I can read minds too if I can look a guy in the eye.
I know.
Every American lies. Why? Because they didn't lie, their wife had divorced them the first day. And you go back to your 4 divorces, I can imagine they have to have some phony excuse.
Well, I told you about mine. Last one
My wife
was my
boyfriend.
I didn't get the money. It went into trust for my mom, so she went and had the process server throw me the service a month after that, and I was out of the house because I didn't inherit the money. It went into a trust fund. That's how. And my dad was smart enough to see that she was spending a lot of money, and my brother's wife was spending a lot of money, and he figured the money should go to correctly to his wife, my mother, and my brother, my sister's mother. But yeah, I don't screw around. I haven't got time to screw around. I'm busy working. I mean, I see women that I like and appreciate.
What you just said was exactly what Martina was down there. She gave me a big kiss, stood there, and I was busting her on the ears. I don't like kissing girls on the mouth because you can get trench mouth.
There you go.
I said, hey, what the hell is going on here? She had Jody call and made up this funny excuse. So I went down there like a damn fool. I wasn't, hey, my mind ain't on sex at my age. When you get to be 94, your mind's on what penitentiary you're going to spend the rest of your life in, mostly. And that'll get you. Hey, right over there, for example, that house, there was 4 guys. They were painters. And according to where the gal was living with them, they haven't paid taxes for years, and they were making, she said they make an average of $100 a year. Well, when you get into that, cat, so about a week ago, there were 11 passengers Dodge drove up there, rest of the whole goddamn gang. And they're probably in a jail in Butte because I don't think they do it to them here.
So the government picked them off.
The place is sitting there and the furnace is going. But that's the goddamn government. All they want is that greenback. I think they ought to get an AK-47 in the ass.
How about, tell me about the Palladium when you used to dance at the Palladium.
Yeah?
The Palladium.
Huh?
The Palladium
Yeah.
in Los
I
Angeles.
go down there every day.
Tell me about it.
That's where I made more money. The Palladium was right across the street. It's in the middle of a block. It'll handle 5,000 every night. This is all jitterbug music.
Tell me more about it.
Yeah.
When-
Hey,
Tell me about
I
the
go
floor.
There 'cause Horace Height, Bugs Bunny Berrigan, all the big shots played there. They had what they call music roulette. Every half hour, the bands would rotate in Los Angeles. So you got one night you might have a good band. Next night you get those guys that play guitars like they can't even read music. It depends on weekends. If they get good orchestras, they get like the one that went down the Pacific Ocean. And but every bar in L.A. had at least a 10-piece band, and some of them 15.
But tell me about the Palladium and the floor.
Oh, the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, it was laid on rubber, and when you dance, you stop and it almost flip you off your feet. Of course, we have a dance floor in Helen that is owned by those guys that run those little. They had rubber, and the city bought that, and they took all that floor up and took the rubber balls out. That was a good floor because you didn't have to be a dancer. The floor went up and down on the rubber. But the Palladium, what I remember, they used to bring in those good Mexican, and they played the Mexican music. I like that better than American.
Mariachi music?
But then I used the Palladium. Hey, sometimes they'd have if you went to work down there at 8, they'd have one band, and they changed bands every couple hours. And of course, there's probably, I figured out once there's probably 1,100 bands in L.A. L.A. at that time was only 15 million. Now it's 30. Around 30. Everybody has a different answer.
Tell me about the grizzly bear and your father in the Dodge truck up in the Yak. Tell me about the grizzly bear and your father in the Dodge truck up in the Yak when you were a kid.
Oh.
Remember the grizzly bear and when your father nudged the grizzly bear with his car? Well, tell me about the bootleggers. Tell me about the bootleggers up in the Yak.
Oh. Well, gee, the bear.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, my dad was in the Forest Service. He had a 1921 Dodge which had heavy fenders, and he had to look over one of his deals. It was a ranger station. So going up there from the ranch, it was 5 miles off the Yak Road. There was a big grizzly, and he was just walking down the road going north. And so my dad had this big bumper. He goes up behind it, and he bumped the goddamn grizzly in his legs. It was a male too, but it didn't have no cubs. He turned around and his meat hooks. He hit the fender and it tore that off. Then he got the Dodge Radiator was sitting on the front and he tore that off. So we had a hike, but the ranch was 4 miles away roughly. We had to go down, took that radiator, picked it up, and took it into Troy, and my dad had to borrow a car. I think that goddamn bear could have tore that Dodge all up. Dad always carried a Harrington and a revolver along back. He fired a shot over his head, and any bear is scared of a gun. He took off like a scalded dog.
Okay, tell me about the Ross National Forest.
Huh?
The Ross National Forest.
Oh, well, that's those giant cedars.
Yeah, tell me about your dad in that forest. Tell me about your dad.
Oh, well, Dad was working for the Forest Service, and there's a guy, the damn Forest Service, a guy named Peter Hewitt. He was from Spokane. So the goddamn bimbos, My dad at that time was a supervisor in Kalispell. This was in 1932. Anyway, the word came that Peter Kieran had the contract to cut down those giant cedars that laid on the from Montana to the Idaho border. So my dad, he was a damn what you call him? I think he was a revolutionist, but he knew that force well because he operated in it there. And those guys were going to saw him down. It had a 12-inch twin-powered blade. So Dad went up there. He had a big, long double barrel, and he shot the ray. He had all radios. He shot all the radiators off. That's when he lost it. Then he made up his story that, you know, we used to buy them Dodges cash and run them out, and that's against illegal. He told me that it was over those Dodges. But the fact was he shot the radiators off of those reels. That was the wood. They were going to haul that wood out there and give it to somebody in Sandpoint, Idaho, I guess.
Tell me about the bootleggers.
Huh?
The bootleggers. The guys with the stills.
Oh.
The bootleggers.
I can't.
The bootleggers, remember the people?
Oh, bootlegger, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Dad was a bootlegger too, but the reason they arrested him any time. They had a law. I know at that time he had 6 kids, and so the government had to pay each kid $125 a month. So they never put him in jail. Well, then one day he was coming down from the Yak to meet the other guy. He had a big logging truck hauled out, and they put all the booze in there in gunny sacks, and all the illegal booze went to Butte, Montana. So there was a guy, some guy in another Dodge was coming down the road. He tried to run Dad off the road. I didn't know then that they knew my dad because he was a bootlegger, and so they made a beeline towards Dad, and he went down the ditch and avoided it. But anyway, a couple of days later, 6 of those revenuers drove up and arrested him, and they threw him in down in Troy, Montana jail, 7 miles away. They threw him in jail, and I thought they got rid of him. Hell, about an hour later, they put him in one of their cars and brought him home because they had to pay, like, say, $800 a month because they had kids. That bootlegging deal was a farce.
Tell me about what would happen when the bootleggers would see the revenuers with the telephone. About when the bootleggers would come to town, about how they'd crank the telephone.
Oh, well, my grandmother had those crank phones, and see, the Yak River is a big valley, bigger than the Bitterroot, and she was the operator. She got sick from AT&T at the time, and everything was coated. And then those revenuers would come up there. The way they could look for a still was look for smoke, because you have to have smoke to have fire. So one day, a bunch of those guys showed up in a Model T Ford, and she coated. I think it was 1 ring, 1 long, and 2 short. Anyway, that signal was to put out your fire and watch out for the revenue. So anyway, they went up there, and the Tobacco River with all Southerners. These old guys, they all carry guns, a sidearm. You had to be visible. And they never came back. Well, years ago, years after that, the FBI came up there, and they had search dogs, and they found that car. Those guys were all inside it. They buried it. They dug a hole and buried it and camouflaged it. Yeah, and that was a bad deal. But they got away with it for a long time. But after that, you know, that was in Lincoln County. You never seen a cop or any, those revenuers gave it up because they knew they were going to get killed. And it's still the same way. 100 years. That's why I wanted you to take you up there.
Well, maybe we'll go up there.
Because you wouldn't know what the hell to do in that valley. Because the goddamn bars are all serving illegal whiskey. And you see to tell the labels are all wore off. Hey, the Yak River hasn't changed in 100 goddamn years. That's, yeah, yeah, and I had my friend Clark, you know, they cook with those convection ovens, that's hot air. And I took him in this bar, was right across the river, right across the creek from the Dirty Shame Saloon. And I bought him, there, you order a 20-ounce steak, and if you can eat it, they pay for it. So he heard me talking about, so he ordered it. Ellie, they'll eat about half of that. He ate half of mine too, but he never got it free. I still probably now, of course, then you could bring a horse in there, but then they put in a restaurant in the state of Montana, cracked down. You can't have a restaurant and a horse. You should come in there. Even had a brass way you could tie the horses up. They'd poop all over the floor. I thought it was great. You stand
Sure.
smell of horse shit.
Yeah.
Now they have to park them outside. They got those round wood fences.
Yeah.
But that bar, something else. The Black River. You know, of course, since we left there, according to the scuttlebutt, the Canadians are moving in there because that's in the biggest Lincoln County. In Lincoln County, they don't pay any. People go hunting every day there, and if they catch it, they take away your deer and your gun, and that's it. That was when I was younger. Probably now you go to jail. I don't know. A lot has changed. I'm gonna make it up there.
Tell me about.
I ain't gonna wait for you because I know you ain't gonna go there. I can tell, but.
I was thinking about it yesterday.
A four-cylinder Jeep. She says, Keith, if you want, and she's got a Corvette, and she's also just bought a new Jeep. You can make enough money when you're laying on your back to do anything you want.
There you go.
And she's been calling me. She wants to see the yak too.
Well, you can take her up. Probably be a better time.
What the hell? All women are prostitutes. Otherwise, how the hell did you get married in the first place? It sure wasn't for their money, that's for sure.
Tell me about the time
Jody.
Tell me about the time when you used to collect the coyote pelts.
Huh?
When you collect the coyote pelts.
Oh, well, that was the problem in the Yak River was full of coyotes and wolves. And that's a 40-mile. In those days, the reason that they didn't get away, every hunter, if they see a wolf, they didn't shoot coyotes as often as the wolves. But, of course, it takes a lot of coyotes to kill an elk and a deer. But that valley is full of whitetails and elk. There was, and black bear. The black bear all come down from Canada because the Canadian border runs right along the north end of it. And but anyway, everybody. I used to shoot coyotes and wolves because they kill elk. They can kill an elk in 15 seconds. They get on there, tear out their throat. But these fucking Americans and
Well, tell me about the time when you used.
Coyote or a wolf or something in their way to raise. I guess they think they're angels.
Tell me about when you used to fly and hunt the coyotes. Remember
What?
when you used the airplane?
Oh, well, of course, I had a flying club. I had a friend named McCormick. He told me out. He's right on the Idaho line, and I used to go up there. And I took my dad with me and taught him how to fly. And but we'd go up there during hunting season because it was full of whitetail. In those days, anybody could shoot a white-tailed deer. They don't even ask you for your license. Of course, it's different now. But I used to take my dad with me, because he was born, you know, he homesteaded up there. But this McCormick, he was the one that was hauling that booze to Butte, actually. But nobody paid any attention to the laws in those days. They were in probation. I don't think they do. Right there, that car's doing 100 miles an hour. If that was in L.A., you'd end up in jail quick because they got airplanes patrolling roads.
Yeah.
I don't think they. I don't think they. All they interested is in the fine. They suck you. That'd probably be $500 down there.
Yeah. What about when you used to shoot when you had the plane and you used to collect the pelts for the bounty?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that. Remember when you used to fly your plane after the
I
war?
used to go up there every weekend. I probably spent half my life up there. Because Dad always had one cavalry bed. Because I liked it because that was during bootlegging days, and every bar had rye whiskey, and that's what I was raised on. So I'd fly up there because you know the cops. If you do that down here, they'd arrest you. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pick on everybody, women too. And anyway, poor Jody, you know, George was cutting her time because somebody complained that she's making a deal.
What I'd like to know is, remember when you used to hunt coyotes for their pelts
Oh yeah.
and the bounty?
It was right up here. Johnson Flying Server. That hill was covered with coyotes, and had a tandem and put a guy in the back, take out the side door window, and it's fortunate to go up there. We're getting actually $125 per pelt. What you had to do is cut off their tail. That's all. So we go up there. In the winter we were doing that. That's when I bought that war surplus airplane. And Johnson Flying Service, see, he got $22,000, and that was a bonus. They don't do that anymore because people go buy cows in some country that's full of them. You know, goddamn law enforcement, they're a bunch of assholes in Montana. Look what's going on right now. They're postponing the elk season. Elk ain't going to go out in this bare ground. Oh, I think they can read. I don't know, anyway, what you do, you come down in a dive and you circle this guy in the back. You drop down on a hard tape, and when he hears the elk, stick the gun out down and shoot, blow his head off. That's the way to hunt, easy, because you don't ruin any meat.
And then how did you do it? You landed where? Didn't you land the plane and then... Oh, never mind.
Carson.
When the ski...
Hey, just think about our military. These two, what they can do. We got hundreds. Hey, see the foreign countries are buying our F-17. Why? Because they can knock down any airplane. They got the deal that can dodge those bullets. And well, hey, this country, I think they're just waiting to get this war, and then when they get ready, we got an Air Force to look what we did to the Japs. According in the Truck Island, we sunk half the Jap Navy. That was done by airplanes, not by guns. Because airplanes, and you know, during the war, had an average of 18 guns on the average, and some of them are 25 millimeter up. We could have won that damn war easy, but I don't think this country wants to. I think they're more interested in killing Japanese women. That damn deal I was a civilian pilot training in the CAA run it, and the only reason I got in that deal, and I got the books to prove it, is because I had a commercial and a private license and an instructor's rating, and so they thought they was going to make some money off me. But the biggest problem was I was 26 years old, and when 26 in the military or over the hill, actually. But, hey, well, one thing about it, I only peeled potatoes once, and that was because they had a big rainstorm and the plant was underwater, so that's why I just thought I was helping them out. But in those days, everybody ate potatoes and what's that? Spam and potatoes. That was the most popular meat there was. It still is.
Yep.
They had a show on spam the other night. That's one of the number one seller.
Mhm.
People eat that damn stuff.
It's good. I like it. Tell me about North Africa.
Huh?
North Africa.
Oh. Well, oh, that's where I ended up when this civilian pilot training deal came in here. They closed it down, so I had a choice of either stay in the regular military. Now this means, so I didn't want to go in the gliders because they don't have no motor. So I ended up in the tip of Africa, and that was there was an air base. That's where they bombed the Plesty oil fields, and of course I had Liberator time. So about the middle of the war, after I got over there, it was almost over. So they sent 225 Liberators over to drop those bombs on the Plesty oil field, because that's where the damn Krauts got all their oil to run the war. And that's when they were starting to hit Russia. Guess what? They hit Russia, but they had to use horses. That's what beat them, because we got their down all their oil, just like what we did in Japan, supposedly. But now, of course, the Germans had diesel, and that's just low grade. That's low grade gasoline. And, hell, actually, the Germans are the one that developed diesel. But hey, I was married to one of those sauerkrauts. They're so goddamn much smarter than the Americans. That blows my wife was smarter than I was, because when she got through with me, my lawyer said, Keith, you're going to be walking down Higgins Avenue in your shorts. It came out true. So I got a tin cup and went down to the corner of Higgins Avenue and Front Street and played my trombone and collecting nickels, dimes, and quarters. That's what happens, all shit is. I'm talking about people that don't save enough money to live on, like me. My son, the guy all down there in a vault, he hates his father. I know all kids hate their father, I guess. It's there, I can tell.
Tell me.
I'll be stuck with this place till the day I die.
Probably. Tell me more about your flying club. Tell me more about the flying club.
The what?
The flying club.
Oh, well, that was still in existence. Rocky Mountain Flyers. When I come home, the carrots that has that deal down on 3rd Street. Hey, everybody was flying light airplanes, so he talked me into it. He had the money. He put up the money, and I had a friend. We'd go out in eastern Montana and buy beat-up airplanes and bring them home, and got the club going. We had when it ended up, we had 27 airplanes, and I was making, I don't know what the rest. With my interest, I did a check every month for 1,800 to average 2,000. So my sister, she said that's a goddamn lie. So one day I took her out there when I had my check due, because she doesn't even believe. After the war, I got a job fired on the NP Railroad. She said I'm lying about that. Anyway, I took her out there and had that check. This was in July. Everybody flies in summer. The check was right around 3,800. And I said, now, you still think I don't? And go ask for my check. There's a desk over there. So she knew my name. She went over to the guy and said, "I want." His teeth finally pointed. Yeah, I knew him, and he pulled up his hand. And that chick was 30, huh? She never said another goddamn word. All sisters are a pain in the ass. You know what I'm talking about?
Tell me about when the people robbed the train and and left the gun in the barn. Remember about the people that hijacked the train?
Oh,
Up in the
train robbers.
yeah.
Well, the Great Northern was carrying bullion to a Spokane bank, and they come through Libby, and they had that gold in a baggage car, and when they pulled into Libby, they dynamited that baggage car and blew it open. He got about 10 cents. They said $500,000, but it's hard to prove. Anyway, they took all that money. Then from Libby, they went down to Troy and came up the Yak River, and they got in our chicken house and stole all our chickens. But when they were in there, one of them dropped their gun. So Dad picked that up and called the sheriff. Anyway, they went down to Sandpoint and they spent most of the money. Then they doubled back to Libby, and when they got to Libby, that guy, his name Frank Bainey, he was a sheriff. He was deadly with a gun. So he was waiting for him down on the platform of the depot, and for them, according to the scuttlebutt, they showed up and they had this big shootout. The train stopped. That train at the time was going east, and they came back from Troy, and they thought they were going to knock off the local bank. But anyway, those guys, that Bainey was waiting for him. Oh, they plugged him too, but he didn't get hit in the vital spot. But he plugged 4 of those goddamn bank robbers. Hey, but Libby and Troy had probably the toughest sheriffs hey, say, for example, the motors start arguing with them, what they do, they pull out their gun and shoot them. They still do it today in some places. LA does it. That's a wild. That Lincoln County is no place for a white man. But those goddamn Canadians are flocking in there. Something happened. I think they're running all the thugs out of their jails. In Lincoln County, they know it's an easy go for somebody that's got a bad record. But Eureka is right next. Eureka is growing faster than Hamilton. Well, that's another thing I want to see what's happening. But I know it's never going to happen. And hey, I ain't even smart. Getting mixed up with a prostitute doesn't do me any good anyway.
No, well, if you want to, I'll see if I can get some time off.
I bet you don't even fuck around with them.
I'll waste my time.
You're working out there, you don't make enough. You know what she wants? $100 when you go to bed with her.
Well, I don't have any. I don't have $100.
I wouldn't pay $100 if it was Lady Godiva and throw in a horse.
Got anything else to tell me about?
Huh?
Tell me about some other stuff that happened when you were young. Didn't you get shot when you were young?
I can't hear.
Didn't somebody shoot you one time through a door?
Oh, that's my sister Elaine. She shot me 3 times. No secret. I was the first boy born in a family of girls, 4 girls, and well, we lived on that ranch. And one day, the sheep herders would come through there, and they give me one of those sheep herders. They have those intelligent dogs that's all hand signal. So I was out. My granddad had a pile of cordwood in the backyard. I was out. His name was Sport, and he was looking through those holes, standing over there. My sister, she come out. She had a long barrel 22 rifle. She wasn't after my dog when she came out. She saw me, what I was doing. I was looking through there. Hey, Sport. And so she come out. She's shooting at me. A bullet hit me right here. It bounced off my head, but I had a headache. Then that didn't stop her. she was still mad. She walked around the sport with looking through that hole, put the gun up right through his right ear and shot him. You know, women are they're just like jackasses. They haven't got no brains. It's all up their ass. And the reason I tell this to you is because you're an expert. I've only been married once. That doesn't qualify me. But then, oh, all right. My dad had a mill pond raised. He had a 27-volt electrical system. And I was out fishing on that. I'm telling you this because it's true. I had a wooden raft. She took a bamboo fishing pole and drove a spike in the end. Come down there, I was fishing, stuck right up my nose like this and pumped me overboard. I couldn't swim, so I was screaming like an eagle, trying to get to shore. The pool was about 8 feet deep, and the water was right up to here. Well, there was a Forest Service ranger, heard me. He was right. He come over with a horse. He threw the rope out and saved my life. And then the next time I was in the Alberton Reservoir, that's when my friend.
Yeah, tell me about the time you were.
He rescued me.
At the Star Garage. Tell me about the Star Garage.
Oh, that was that was my brother-in-law here. 17 years. He was drunk and I'd go to work. He'd come to work at 8 o'clock. And we had all the storage for Florence Hotel, about 200, our capacity 225. And that was the first job I had out of high school. And the only reason I went to work is because my brother-in-law was running. But about after all the crowd from the hotel got their cars, he'd just take off and leave me. And I had to run it. This went on for 17 goddamn years. He was a goddamn pimp, you know. I've dealt with them all my life. I know what it's all about. But then, you know, he wouldn't give me a raise. So I'd steal the money and I put an IOU. And I told him, I said, beans, you don't pay me enough to afford a good, you know, there were 34 whorehouses on Front Street from Higgins Avenue down to Orange Street. So I knew all the girls because they used to buy gas. Tom Wick, anything a whore can she get gas, tires, anything. And of course Tom never got no money, but all he's interested in a piece of ass. Like all Americans. But I think about it, Jesus Christ. He had a women's restroom out of Davenport. There's one girl, what's that outfit that deals out money, you know. She'd come in there, and you know, she said she had a Lincoln Zephyr that held about 40 gallons, so I'd give her 10 gallons of gas. That was when gas was 25 cents a gallon. And she'd take off her clothes and give me a blowjob. Jesus Christ, I thought I died and went to heaven. I mean, if you haven't, fucking and a blowjob is better than anything. And you know what I'm talking.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've done it.
I've gotten lucky every now and then.
That's what I tell Jody. I think that's why she thinks I'm going to pop with that $100 for a blowjob.
So tell me about
Jody.
Tell me about when.
What?
I'm trying to think of some of the stories you told me about, like when the FBI came in and all that.
Well,
there was somebody that was tell me about the tongs and the FBI and that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in relation to the Yak River?
No, in relation to Front Street.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Yak River, doesn't matter.
Well, the FBI, in those days, the Forest Service was run by the FBI, and then there's the CIA. And of course, Dad being in the Forest Service, what happened? Those Canadians would come down there with a truck and cut all the timber, shoot a couple out, a couple of grizzly bears and load them into a car and drive off. So the FBI, they called them in, and they came up there. Well, gee, evidently they must have exchanged gunfire, because this went on for only about a week in my life, and they never saw. I probably killed them. They're probably still out there dead. But then, the damn FBI guys, Yak River was, being laid up against Canada, and there was a lot of stuff going on. And those guys, they drove Marmons. But they were out, they'd arrest women. They had a lot of Duca bars up there that they all smoked pipe. But God, I don't know. A country like nobody believes in law and order. Hamilton is the same way. The cops, the police department, and the sheriff's department don't even speak to each other. Now, you see in the paper, they passed this law to stop the expansion. Now they're trying to, in today's paper, they're trying to knock that out so that they know the town's going to get bigger in Missoula here. Damn near is now. You've been up there lately?
Yeah, it's pretty crowded, yeah.
I think when they open this new highway next week, Hamilton will go like hell.
Yep.
They just built a $4 billion dread disease hospital right next door to Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain fever. Everybody up there, I don't think there's any unemployment in Hamilton. But my son's wife is still, she wants me, I used to go up there when I had my health and take her out to the bank club. It was the best restaurant. They got this Black Angus steaks and take her out to dinner. But now, she's got a gambler. She's down at the Eagles Club, has about 500 machines they pay her. She's down there pumping those one-armed bandits, and she drinks gin and tonic. And Stevie had this band in the Hawaiian Islands, and he played all. She's got all his recordings. I thought she'd let me have one so I could. He was a real musician. He graduated from the music department out at the university.
That's your brother, right?
Your cum laude.
That's your brother, isn't it?
Huh?
Your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah.
I taught him how to play a trombone. Did anybody play a trombone? He didn't. I don't think he could read music. I grew up. There was a trombone player that was from Horse Heights Band, and he believed in sweet music. And that band we had down there that played Rodriguez at the Paramount Theater, we played some good sweet music. I bet you can't get it today.
No.
If you want me to come over to this bazaar across the street, over there you got to tip them, and they'll play any record. They got thousands of records.
That's neat.
That's the best. I like good music.
Yeah. Tell me about the time you played with Duke Ellington's band.
Huh?
Tell me when you played with Duke Ellington and about your car. Remember when you worked with Duke Ellington?
Oh yeah. Well, Duke Ellington. See, that was an all-black band, and I had a card, and I used to practice 4 hours. To be a musician, you don't go to University of Montana. You go practice 4 hours a goddamn day with a special mouthpiece. Otherwise, they classify you as a shithead, like all other musicians. Anyway, Duke Ellington, as far as I could find out, he had a part interest in the Paramount, which was at the time the biggest theater downtown L.A. But so when somebody didn't show up, he'd call Lockheed and I'd lie and go out there, because $18 an hour was damn good money in those days. And he always only played from about 6 till 10. And Duke Ellington was a Duke Ellington band was absolutely the best band, and that other guy, the trumpet player, Harry James. They both used to play together down there at the Paramount. Everybody, they let everybody get up on the stage and dance. Of course, you had all those kids with those white shoes. Everybody danced in those days. I go out. The thing I noticed that people don't dance like they used to. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
What the hell do they do? Just go to bed?
I have no idea. I don't go out anymore. I don't gig anymore in bars at night, so I don't have a clue. I usually play out for the farmers market and the New Year's Eve, and once in a while. All over about Duke Ellington.
Hell, I don't know what the hell you're. I know you just throw it in the garbage.
No. Tell me about when when you'd play in the band with Duke Ellington. Tell me about Duke Ellington. I had to plug it into the wall. The battery was running out.
Well, Duke Ellington, during the war, see, Duke Ellington played at Paramount Theater. Why? Because he had a contract. He played down at Ocean Park, and he undoubtedly all black. They're the black musicians that got. They're just like black presidents. They beat the hell out of white people, evidently. And so Duke Ellington, he made a lot of movies too. So he was a very popular guy. And like I say, the McConnell, you heard that?
Yeah.
He was doing a Black McConnell. I was all the little kids about that high. And the Paramount Theater was just about like the Willamette, Missoula. Only thing is, it holds about 4,000 people, and the room only holds less than 1,000. But that was, and then the war was going on, and people, when they went out more then because they had money. Well, Jesus, my wife, she was for the IABM department, and I didn't believe her, but she said she was averaging $6,000 a month, and I believe it because after she got rid of me, she went over to hell and built a house and paid Stevie cash. So a lot of people made money in that war.
Tell me about when they stole your tires.
Oh. Well, this is one incident. I don't know if this is the one I told. I had a Dodge I bought that had white sidewalls. And parking lot at Lockheed, they had guards. And one night, I was on a swing shift. I come out, and each of those 4-inch white sidewalls, all is sitting on the rim, on the brake drum. What happened? Those guys would go around, they'd remove all the lug bolts, and then they'd rock the car, and all the tires would fall off. It took me 2 days. It took me 2 days to get some second-hand tires. That car sit out there in that parking lot with no wheels. Hey, down there, a new car, you couldn't, if you didn't have a bodyguard, they'd steal a tire, they'd break a window, and anything inside they could get that was loose, they'd take it too. It's probably worse now. LA, in my lifetime, I lived in Chicago. I never lived in New York. I lived in Chicago, Milwaukee, and Gary. But that's the rottenest town on the face here, and the reason I say it, anybody with a black face on a freeway, they'd arrest him, and if he put up a fight, they'd kill him right there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was really bad.
They still do it. They don't. The goddamn cops down there are worse than the gangsters in Chicago. The reason I know, see, they had this, I already told them, they had this deal where Montana had a reciprocity law in California. That meant I go down to a California place. Well, I should have got California plates in those days. I think it's $12 for 4 years, and so I do it every night when I got off work. The cops would stop me because I had this damn Dodge with Montana plates. Then I had this card, but that didn't. I bought this reciprocity deal. They'd drag me down to the police station, and they'd throw me in jail for about 4 hours to cool me off. then and I said, I told you about. Haven't you heard about reciprocity? Oh yeah, you told us about it 14 times. That made me mad. But don't ever spot off to a California cop. Because about 9 times out of 10 they pull out their gun and blow your head off, and that's legal. Everything's legal in California.
I guess.
But cops make up the laws as they go along, I think.
Oh, they're the ones that have the badge, and they're the ones that have the guns in their.
Hey, he's supposed to go pick up those kids that won. Did he ever leave?
I think he might have. I saw him walking towards the car.
I bet those kids will be living there. But his wife, went over to that house and it's a shambles. Now he's got the contract to go fix it up. It's over on University Avenue.
Oh, good.
3-bedroom house. He's paying $900. Hey, if you got rentals, every time somebody moves out, you got to go in there and fight the curtain. He tore all my curtain rods down and over there.
Yeah.
And threw them in the garbage. And the curtain rods, he bent over his knee and they're in the garbage.
That was a sleazy thing to
But
do.
he's paying for it, so and this morning, he turned on the electricity and got that heater works that went in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so damn hot in there. He had all the curtain, but he's paying before. I bet my bill because he was running electric heaters on my bill. Jesus Christ! I owe that power company. They're goddamn much money now. I'm going to have to take out bankruptcy because I know better than to give a son of a bitch his cash because they'll go to a whorehouse down the street. I bet they raise our rates. I'm going. Dennis Weisman, he's buying his power from Bonneville. You know what? He's paying about half what I'm paying for electricity. But he has all those machines he's got have at least 2,500 horsepower. Everything's electric over there in Butte. And hey, the goddamn gold was up to 580, and there was a lot of gold comes out of copper. I bet he's probably worth $20 trillion or more. And I find he's the one to give the university the money for that new field. Boy, that's some higher than the Florence Hotel on the East End. Have you been out there?
Not yet, not recently.
All steel, all glass, and they can close that up in winter. It's all electrically heated. $142 for a seat, and they selling it out. They need the money.
Well, they're making it pretty good.
This car isn't there, huh?
No. You got anything else?
I gotta get the thing out in the garage because that stuff, you gotta breathe it. A good thing I didn't spray it with that damn stuff. Those kids would be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got down. I couldn't sleep last night. God damn, everything you do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Immoral, illegal, or fattening.
That's right. You got anything else to say? Well, you have.
Huh?
I was going to say, I'm trying to think what you can tell me about.
Yeah.
Tell me about the old.
Oh.
Tell me something about the old days.
My aunt, she's working on. She said, "Keith, yeah, I know you got problems because you tell me." And I said, "Yeah." And my biggest problem, I said, I got a sister to make you look like a nice girl. She's never met my sister Allison.
Yeah.
You met her, but
Yeah.
she's pretty nice when it's just for a battery deal.
Yeah.
But God, I go down there, I give up I don't know what to do with her. She's turned down lately because I've been taking her. She likes that red wine. I take her down a bottle of that
Well, that's good. Yeah.
every day when I can find the money. Oh, you know, she had a rotten marriage. The guy she's married, like I say, he worked for Albany. Son, I think he was a billionaire because he always drove Italian Ferrari. In those days, they cost about $28,000, like American cars do now. And then he was, you know, they were living in San Francisco. San Francisco has a Chinese, 80,000 Chinese right downtown, and they actually Chinese run that town. And he knew all those Chinese people. He used to go down there every night. But she finally kicked him out. You know, you don't better yourself by getting a divorce because you go out and pick another drunk up in the bar somewhere. Anybody that's got enough money to buy a drink, I used to do the same thing. She didn't buy me a drink, I moved on. Cause hey, you see all those new bars they got downtown? Jesus.
I haven't gone out. I don't go out at now.
Down the alley behind the mercantile, there's a couple of them.
I don't even go out at all.
This town is really growing. When some of this government money comes down, I'll bet this town will go crazy. I may be wrong. Maybe the old guy will fire me and I'll have to steal my money back from Stevie. I can't get an answer. He won't give me a straight answer on anything. Well, I know why. He married to you ever heard of the Greeks?
Yeah.
He's married to a Greek girl, and she runs his life with an iron hand. She even got mad because he used to come up here and move in with me, and she knows that I ain't the right guy. And the reason he moved in with me, he didn't have to pay motel room. He still does that, or he goes around the corner to his friend Anderson. It's a volatile world.
Yeah, it sure is a volatile world. What do you think? What do you think about the world situation and the election of Obama? What do you think about the election?
You know, I find McDonald, H.R. Turman, that girl, she's 16 and a half, and I know she's hurting. I asked her one day, she said, what did you? I said, I showed her my card. Actually, I'm 94 years old. My goddamn mother couldn't, she could multiply, but she couldn't subtract. But anyway, she's sitting down there, she always brings me a paper, and I give her $1 or $2. Then one morning she said, hey, I'm having her, she claimed her dad and my mother both died. I think she was lying. So I said, I happen to have a $5 hand of that. So I got no, she's telling one of the girls that worked there that I was like Jesus Christ. And so after that, every morning I go in there, she'd bring me over a paper in Missouri, and they got a strict rule, no tipping. And evidently somebody saw that, and after that thing got really bad. Then, about 2 weeks ago, she was cleaning the floor right next to my table, and that guy that runs it, the head guy that put over, he come over and canned her right there. And you know, the sign says $7.50 an hour depending on availability. I think that's a bunch of shit. But she needs a job, I know, but I found out she's going to high school. She was just a junior. And you don't mess around with the hired help. They got strict rules down there. And the tipping is #1. And that old gal that's working there, I always give her a $1 tip. So about a week ago, she actually rolled it up and slammed her. I says, hey, this is not a tip. She got a beautiful smile, and she's the only one that talks to me. I says, this is IRS money. This just keeping those motherfuckers that are running our country from any money. And she looked at me, then she reached up, and that was, and got me a full sun and set it down there. I said, I don't understand, you know, a Sunday paper, it's $1.75. Sorry, got $2, and boy, that really made her mad. I said, this is only government money. It isn't worth, our money ain't worth a goddamn. I said, I got friends, they're working, they're making 3 times more money than I ever made. They don't know, our goddamn mother won't even buy you a good automobile.
It's true.
The only thing you can get is a used Ford over here in a car lot. Hey, he hasn't got it. I know he's still got those 2 new Fords there. They're last year's model. But I gotta get a car, god damn it. But Kale said, don't worry. He thinks this deal is gonna work. But I don't know what about the little, his 2 daughters are like angels without wings. But hey, you know, divorce, and you know, a divorce is the most, he's a young guy. And I can, since this thing happened, he come in here, you ought to see him. He was, walked in that door, crocodile tears running down, and tell me about what she did to him.
Yeah, it's
She grabbed his SUV and drove to Missoula, and her mother, she's an Indian, she's drunk, and she didn't want nothing to do with his kids. So she bit off her nose to spite her goddamn face. Women are that way. But he's a good kid. You can see that.
Yeah.
Hell, that paint job, he's paying for everything.
I watched him
said,
paint.
Keep track of it. I said, I'm not a cheap son of a bitch like the rest of these goddamn Americans. I want to pay. I'm paying I got a slush fund. That's the money that guy is paying me. It's actually $29,000. The other fund's down to 2. But hey, I found out if you don't pay people for their time, this goddamn deal, I know he's trying to intimidate me. And I'm an easy guy to intimidate because he was married to my daughter. I mean, what am I saying? My daughter was his mother. He's still crying over her too. That was a sad damn deal.
Yep.
You know he's crying over spilt milk,
No.
but he enrolled the older girl. The other kids are too young, but he took him over to one of these health spas. But he says, don't worry about money. He was making $48 an hour. He had 2 companies. And I don't know. Yeah, you never been over to Honolulu. Yeah. Hey, there's no unemployment over there because the people are just like all these goddamn Montana. You ever try to get a guy to? I bet you can't get a roofer on that.
No. I couldn't afford to pay one.
Huh?
Even if I could get one, I haven't got the money to pay for it.
Roofing is the most important thing. But that roof up there, that was done by Stevie's Carpenters. I flew him in from Denver. Now I had a bid on it. Locally, it was around $5,000. That included ripping the old roof off because the plywood was rotten. Well, next door, that cost him $40,000 to put a new roof on that because they replaced all the wood. When it leaked, that water gets in and rots out those 2x6. Shit. But he said he guaranteed that roof for 19 years. You know, probably that because there was a good roof under. He left the old roof. But you know, roof. You have, and like putting that tar over. If you don't put that tape, and about here, it'll crack and leak worse. But that roof out there, remember, it used to leak that, and you helped me on it. Lady, I haven't had one drop of water, and I know goddamn well that you look at it. I suppose we haven't had heavy enough. Well, I think snow. Snow backs up that water. We haven't had any much snow. I don't know what the answer is. I'm too old to commit suicide because I just probably lay out there and the dogs will eat me. Hey, Jody and Hannah look better all the time. After I went down there yesterday, they talked to both of them, got there sitting down, you know. One of them had a hand, one of them grabbed me by the balls. I said, hey, listen, I know that George was staring at me like I was not. I said, please, you can do this some night when we're down at Lolo. The women are more aggressive than men. Now she wants me to come down. She goes to work at 2 and works till midnight. But hey, she bought that automobile from Jody, you know, and the motor quit the first day. Guess what? I told her, for God's sake, are you listening? You go to Butte, you can get a brand new motor. I know this for a fact. See, over in Japan, when a car gets in an accident, you have to jerk the motor and they ship it to the, I call them nut bastards in Butte. And I said, you can get a brand new motor. We'll have a little mile for around $250. So Stevie comes up. He's one of those. He buys motors in Butte. I don't know if the Chryslers, they get you a motor. It may take him a couple of days. So she went over there. See, I fixed up that truck. Remember, I was shining up. You know what you got? That damned old Dodge, $1,500.
Damn.
I worked out there for 3 days to polish it up. And then, I don't know if it was her or one of her boyfriends that pissed all over the front seat. It's urine. It was a mess. And I had some stuff. I cleaned that all up. I had that goddamn truck. And guy who works there, he paid her $1,500. She bought it for $200 right over here. So she's happy. I told her to quit grabbing me by the balls. I said, that was proper 45 years ago, but not anymore. Because my granddaughter thinks I'm a pimp. And she even write me. I said, hey, your dad was my father. Give him next time you write me a letter about my pimping. A pimp, no pimp could make it. At the University of Montana, you go out there after the game, and they have free beer. A pimp could starve to death because those girls give you free ass all the time. That's the only place I've ever got free ass. And one thing about, and most of the time it's a Jap, and they speak 4 languages, so it's pretty nice. But Jesus Christ, I think the Japs are going to take over this school. But the thing about it, all those students in Japan, the average age is 27. Young kids, you know, over in Japan, they get out and they learn to trade, and then they go to school. And I think that's right. Who knows? Hey, that stove, I could heat the whole bunch. You know what, that stove, the reason I got money, that stove, over the years, I sit down on it. I figure it saved me $4 grand. And you're bitching about money, but I know you'll never do it because you have to work a couple hours a day getting enough wood. I've eaten up half that pile of wood out there.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, see, I got up in the morning this morning. I was down getting wood. I had to go look in the truck. Cale wouldn't even get it because he's like, oh, kids today, they ain't going to work. The reason he's working there because I give him free running, otherwise he'd probably said, fuck you.
No, I don't think he would. I think he's a nice kid. I don't think he'd do that.
He is my daughter's son.
Yep.
And Phil died last week, 2 weeks ago.
I read that.
He went through that. Then There's another kid that he knew, he's a long-lived electrician that strings the wire. He died too. Now that's 3 in about 2 weeks. And then his wife string his steel on him. Why the hell she wait?
I don't know.
The problem is, those 3 kids, see, he goes skiing, and he has one of these deals he tow behind the boat. You go up a mile high, cut it loose, and then you come down. And all women they get pissed off if you have, like in Europe, a Frenchman can have 3 girlfriends legally. But not in the United States. You got to put up with these old girls that got blisters on their cunt. I know I used to, mine had them all over her face too. But one thing I've known, American male will do anything for a piece of ass. It doesn't have anything to do with looks or anything. Oh, has that greenbacks. Our government is the same damn way. He probably got that painting done, except for he worked till midnight last night.
He's a good painter. I was watching him trim. He got a perfect line.
He ain't gonna get nobody in this country to work.
No.
Goddamn, Jesus Christ! I tried to get Clark over here. Clark, he won't even work for $20 an hour. That's what I offered him. I thought he's always telling me if I needed help. All you do is ask him, and his face turns white, and he changes the subject. Hey, the goddamn Americans, no wonder this country is going to hell. They're all the same. Because I know him, I built our house in this block. And Mike Dwyer, he's only same age as Stevie. Try to get him coming down here. You know, if you want to hurt something, somebody's feelings, you use that 4-letter word.